Start. Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is the 14th of February, 2021. Hello, Ruben. I hadn't seen you.
Morning. Happy All
Hello.
Saints Day, everyone.
Hello, Glenda. Welcome. And today is a very special day. Number one, because it's the 14th of February. Number two, because we are going to restart our international meetings. And number three, because we have very special guest speakers, 9 special guest speakers to talk about the highs and lows of 2020. I don't know how it sounds to you, but the highs and lows of 2020. But this information, the questions, the name doesn't belong to me. It was created by Randall Davis, who will be with us one of these months. I don't know if you happen to know him, Randall Davis. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Okay, let me share my screen. Oops. Okay, and this is what I got this sentence, I don't know from where. I guess it belongs to Peru TESOL, I guess. But it says, it's okay, good teachers never stop learning. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is me when I was thinner. Okay.
Year, right?
Yeah. There is a problem. Wait. Sorry. Okay, this story began in April 2020 and it goes on in 2021. And as somebody said,
yes, happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Smile.
Happy Valentine.
Best day. Be happy forever and ever. So let's be grateful. Gratitude is the best
attitude.
Yeah. In spite of all the bad moments, in spite of of everything, so many negative things that happen every day. What else? Be grateful for all the obstacles in your life. Why? Why, Julio?
They have strengthened you as you continue with your journey.
Yes, that's true. So who else wants to read?
I can do it.
Please.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. That's something that
the more positive we are, the more positive our thoughts are, the more positive our life will be. So I'm grateful for somebody who wants to say, I learned this from Mary Scholl.
I remember the activity.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you, Dixie. An honor to have you here. Please.
I'm grateful for being alive.
Yes. Yes.
And besides that, I'm grateful for technology because that's something that has helped us all to overcome all the difficult situations and loneliness and sadness and everything.
Well, I'm grateful because of my health, my work, my family, and my friends like you. Thank you for being here, to all of you. Okay, what else? Who is presenting in 2021? Look at the Oscars.
Oh boy.
This year, everyone, all the speakers will receive an Oscar. I don't know when it will arrive to your place, but I will send it. So Larissa Rico, she will be presenting on February 28th. Mary Scholl, Ronnie Hoshier, that's the way you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think so.
Hoshier?
Hoshier, I think so.
Yeah, Mary? Ronnie? Mary?
Ronnie Hauser? Yeah. Ronnie or Hauser, I'm not sure.
Me neither. Hauser? Well, and Raj, they are presenting the three of them together on March the 7th. Then Ralph Grayson, a great friend of us from Piura in Peru. He will be presenting on March the 7th. Well, Julio Valladares, who is running to become a congressman.
I vote for you, Julio. I vote for you.
Look, he looks like the president. He will be presenting on March the 7th. Then our good friend, Anthony Michael
yes.
from Nigeria, he will be presenting on April 11th. Then Patricia Arbona, who's present, she will be presenting on April 18th. Laura Holland, she will be presenting on April 25th. A good friend, we met Julio 5, 6, 7 years ago in Lima, Ovidio Matthew from Romania. Wow, so every time we are going farther and farther. And then Mónica, I don't know if you happen to know this wonderful professional from Argentina. She lives in the USA. She's an expert on mindfulness.
Yes.
Yeah, she will be presenting. Then our good friend from Spain, Marisa Perez Cañado, she's a very busy woman, just like all the ladies here, but she will give us a Sunday. It will be on May the 30th.
Only the ladies are busy, or
no? We men cook and wash.
Especially on Sundays.
Especially on Sundays, yeah. Then Isabel Tapja from Peru on June the 6th. Edison Santa Cruz from Ecuador, he will be with us again. And Gracia Trantini, she's from Italy, but she lives in Ecuador, a wonderful professional too. Nicola Willis, we don't know when she will be presenting, but she's also a very busy and important woman. Why the ladies are more than boys? Yeah, why? We have a... Well, I guess I know. I guess I know. They are
ladies, man, know what's wrong.
They are much more intelligent than us. That's it.
No, the thing is that we're more humble.
Busier.
We're more humble. We're more humble.
Yeah,
and finally, to finish the gray semester, the first semester, Randall Davis. We don't know when, but he will be here. So today we have our 37th International English Online meeting, and we'll be talking about changes and feelings and judgments, challenges, opportunities, and much more. These are our 9 guest speakers. Maria Elba, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Maria Elba in Bolivia.
Hello,
Larissa
everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Elba.
Okay. Okay, Larissa is present.
Hi, Mary.
I'm calling the roll, please, students. Larissa.
Here, present.
Dixie.
Here, present. I need to send you a more recent photo.
sorry. Raj. Raj, present.
Choose the photo.
Yes.
I don't
Mónica, Mary, Chris, Ilka, and Julio. So everyone is present.
I'm here.
So if somebody wants to say hello, one of the people who have just arrived. Hello, Juan in Colombia.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Pleasure.
Hi, everybody.
So, hello, Ivan Suazo. Where are you, Ivan
hello.
Suazo?
Hello, good morning. You see where I am?
No.
Oh, it's a Centro Espiral Maná.
Ah, you are one of the lucky guys.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so grateful for being here and attending this session on this special day. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Special day. Yeah. So, okay, we are going to start. The 9 speakers can speak. Okay. The first question is, tell us 3 words that capture your feelings about 2020. Tell us 3 words that capture your feelings about 2020.
I guess I'll start.
Maria?
Oh, Maria Alba, go ahead.
Sadness, despair, nostalgia.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Next.
I will say perseverance, frustration, and patience to be rediscovering about yourself.
Yeah. Next.
I would say favorite, and those would be gratitude, change, and flexibility.
Gratitude, change, and flexibility. Yeah, that's what I need, flexibility. Next.
I would say resilience, gratefulness, and generosity.
Generosity, yeah. Everybody needs that, especially us. What else?
I would say learning, innovation, and frustration.
Learning, innovation, and frustration. Thank you, Dixie.
Nice.
Next.
I feel have new horizons, deeper connections, and love.
Say that again, Mary.
New horizons, deeper connections, and love.
Yeah, deeper connections. Yeah, I like that. Deeper connections. Yeah. Next.
So I can go next. I felt fear for our humanity, curiosity for what will emerge, and hopeful that together we can do it.
Okay. Again, all the nice speakers have already spoken, right?
No, not me.
Sorry, Julio. Sorry,
well,
Julio.
I have challenge, hope, and awareness.
Yeah.
It has opened lots of awareness in in my case. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. And Christopher Lapin?
Frustration, really. Frustration, sadness, and hope would be my three.
Frustration, sadness, and hope. I like the last one, hope.
Thank you.
Hope. Yeah. I guess I didn't give you this question, right?
You did.
I did.
You did. You sent us all.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And the second question is name people who were most influential in helping you navigate this past year. Name people who were most influential in helping you navigate this past year.
Well, I would like to start. First, I would like to thank it's not like I'm polishing the apple here because I had home, but my wife, no, she's also a teacher, and she saw that kind of frustration that I was going through because of not knowing how to handle technological tools, as Olenka does. No, I'm happy that she's here. But she kept on telling me, come on, be patient, you can do it. And also I would like to thank all my colleagues, the teachers who were behind the screen when we're teaching, because they are also the ones who feed me with all that information that we need in order to again transmit it to other teachers. Because they are the ones who really go through all the different stuff that we go through during this pandemic period. Those are the people I would like to thank.
Thank you, Julio. Next.
I would like to agree with Julio because one of the things that I'm really grateful is for my family support, especially because of my kids. Since they are younger, they are more aware of all the technology and the gadgets and how to work. And myself, not being that young, they needed to provide, and I'm really grateful for all the support that they provided for me. Secondly, all the colleagues, because, you know, as a group such this one that you created, Jaime, I mentioned it before, I'm really grateful because not only learn from each of the presentations, every single presentation, but also for all the content in it, especially the ones who presented the technological tool or how to apply it. And I have learned from each of you and practice a little bit of the new alternatives. And of course, regarding the universities that I'm involved, that I'm still working with them, I need to thank all the technological support department because every time that I was in a mess or in an emergency, I needed to call. It's like, this is not working. And they really help. So I'm grateful, really grateful.
Thank you, Irma, in Ecuador. Next.
I want to say that my family, because we have very hard months, we lost 2 brothers and all the family are all together, not face to face, but all together with sentiments. And my sons, my daughter, and all the family always be with me on the distance, but all with us, helping us to continue with hope. And technologically, I have some friends like Sergio, Adam, that they helped me in the last convention.
Yeah, great convention in Bolivia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Next. Thank you.
I would like to mention the students also, because I don't know about yours, but mine have been totally amazing. They're
Yes.
patient, they're resilient, they're hardworking. They're not all of them, of course, but in great mass. And what I don't know, they tell me, no, teacher, here, move it there and do it like this. And so they, you know, it's what they're learning from me is nothing compared to what I've been learning from them.
Yeah, that's true. You are right, Dixie. Next. Thank you, Dixie.
Well, I was going to say students as well as Dixie, because I think students have been amazing. Especially I teach students in the last years of secondary, and this is like normally the most important year for them. They're moving into university, they have their proms and they have their memories, and those memories have been dashed this year, you know, but they've been so mature. Like Dixie says, I'm a bit of a technophobe, but they've been helping me and they've been patient with me, and I've also learned from them. So, you know, I mean, it should be a big shout out to the students and also my colleagues. I think the whole teaching, I mean, the very fact that Jaime's got us all here on a Sunday morning on Valentine's Day is testament to the hard work that the teachers put in, especially Jaime. We have to say thank you to you for all these events that you've organised. So I think the teaching community, not just the English teaching community, but I see my colleagues in other departments as well. I think everyone's come together, and it's been great to see.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher. Next.
Mary, go.
I would echo what many people have said. So rather than, I think what's really carried me have been consistent check-ins and meaningful conversations with close colleagues and family members. And two people are here that both Yvonne and Raj are people in my life that throughout this whole year, we've been consistently talking and checking in and trying to hold space for the ambiguity that we're all living, and just really be present with full heart. But my family, my friends, the colleagues, this is amazing. There's been some interesting WhatsApp groups that I've been a peripheral member to, but I just think that they give little boosts of energy. And I think our professional community has become very active. I actually got tired of conferences and presenting. I was like, can't do it right now. I need a break. But that's also carried me because I see how many people are really sharing, interacting, growing. And that has carried me too. So I'm just feeling very grateful.
Thank you, Mary. Next.
I think I'll follow Mary in this hard act to follow sometimes. And Mary, I'm appreciating how our consistent connectedness is very, very much appreciated. And Yvonne's part of the team. And of course, this international group has consistently been there all of last year. Those regular meetings, it really provided a venue for conversation. Something that I want to mention is my three grandsons, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old, who are experiencing different levels of understanding of what is it like not to be in a classroom. So each one of them is teaching me that it's not a homogeneous experience offline in classroom. Each individual is having a different experience, and seeing these three boys is taught me not to assume that everybody's having the same experience.
Yes, not everybody is having the same experience, right?
We're all in the same storm, but not all in the same boat.
Yeah, I like that.
Or with the same mind.
Yeah, next. Mónica, maybe?
I was listening to all your emotions and sharing your experiences, and I was thinking also how grateful we have to be to technology and to the communities that we have built. I think that through these kind of meetings, through these kind of networking, we have also been able to keep up the idea that we are not alone. And I think that this is something that has been so strong through very, very difficult times. You yourselves are sharing very, very difficult experiences that we have been through. As Irma was also mentioning, we are all going through different experiences at different levels. And this has been a great time of change. This has been personal change, personal life change, professional change, our relationship with our students. But I think that our sense of community, at least in my experience, it has been one of those things that kept us kind of fighting and thriving and being more resilient together. This idea of togetherness, right? Both with our students in these kind of communities and networks, and among teachers ourselves. I've noticed such a great level of connection among teachers to keep each other up, to help each other out. And I think that this has been something great that has happened in these very difficult times, because we also have to acknowledge the difficulties and many of the losses that we have had at all levels of our lives, right?
Yeah, that's true. We all agree with your ideas, Mónica. Yeah, very deep thoughts that we share with you. Larissa, in Colombia.
Talking about community, what Mónica just said, I want to share with you that the last year we had a project from the Ministry of Education, and I was working with teachers all around Colombia, and I learned a lot. They were really influential for me because they work in different contexts and they work as a community. They had the chance to share ideas. So I learned a lot from rural areas, from urban areas, and they learned a lot. So the idea of working together, we know that we have challenges, and we had challenges the last year, but working together taught us that we can improve and that we can learn. Additionally, my family was a great support. They were really influential. I live here only with my son, but my parents live in Florencia, and we are like in different cities in Colombia. But we decided to share and to be together through Zoom every Sunday. So every Sunday, that was like good for us to see each other and to share ideas, to share games, to have fun. So they were pretty influential to me. And of course, it was not easy for us. And with my colleagues, I learned a lot.
Thank you very much. So we have some friends from different countries and cities who are present today here with us. I don't know if one of you wants to say something. One of the teachers from the other countries or cities here in Peru. Okay, later. So now we are going to start with the deeper questions. How has the pandemic changed your life, your study, and your teaching? How has the pandemic changed your life, your teaching, and your study? So let's start with you, Dixie.
Wow. Well, I've been teaching for almost 40 years now. So you know, you would think that there's not a lot more that I could be learning. And suddenly I discovered that I have to do everything in a different way. And I have to really rethink what I'm doing. I'm used to being a lot more active as a teacher. I'm used to, for example, my classes, I would never sit down during a class. And so now I find that I have to be lower key. I understand that it's difficult for the students to, the way that they're receiving the material and perceiving the material is different. So I have to think about, okay, you know, the stuff that I normally did, can I continue to do it? How does that work? The breakout rooms have been a blessing for everybody. So I think that that's the thing, you know, totally rethink something that was pretty much automatic for me, and then translate it into a new language, which is the technological language. That's on the teaching part. The study part, I find, has been kind of left on the wayside. I mean, studying, what I'm trying to study right now is technological tools or how to make life easier for people. But what I normally study, it's kind of on the back burner. I don't know if this is what somebody mentioned a while ago, that, you know, at the beginning, everybody's sending webinars, and, you know, this webinar, and there comes a moment when you say, thanks. I think not anymore, right? It's too much time online. And so you want to opt out of some things. And life in general, I think actually I'm doing better in a sense because my life has become less hectic. And those are, I think, the three big changes for me.
Something interesting, Dixie, that you have just mentioned. In the past, in the face-to-face classes, we were tired and we wanted to sit. And now we want and we need to stand up because we spend too much time sitting.
Yes.
Mary Scholl, your ideas, please.
For me, on a very personal level, I have not been on an airplane since March, and that hasn't happened in 20 years, I think. And so not flying, I think, has been really good for me. I was actually thinking a year ago, I was like, how can I travel less? As much as I love traveling, I love the work I'm doing, I was ready. And so staying, I live in the countryside, I live on a farm. And I think over the months of staying home, I can sort of feel some layers of travel exhaustion that have dissipated. And so just being home, walking in nature for me. So for me, I have a very blessed situation. I can walk in nature every day.
Yes.
And that has been amazing on a personal level. On a professional level, I have to say, I mean, I love working online. I've been working online for years. I love the face-to-face. I have seen that we can reach similar results online, and we have been able to reach more people. So right now we're running a TESOL certificate course online, and we have to make changes. We can't, like as Dixie said, the content doesn't come, it's not as, we need more space for our personal lives, that we need to start sharing more on a, and create some more personal connections that we would do if we were just in person. Our bodies would probably, our body energies would come in sync. We don't have that. So we have to do other things to connect as human beings before we dive into content. But I'm seeing similar results in our TESOL certificate. I'm seeing similar realizations in the participants. And we're reaching new people. So in our TESOL cert course, we teach English to students, and our students that we've chosen now, we're working with preschool teachers from the Ministry of Education, because we can. They don't actually have to come to our little town now. We can do it online. We have a fellow doing a master's degree in TESOL that we're doing it. He's doing an internship with us. He's teaching English teachers from Nicaragua who want to improve their English. They're at an A2 level, and we need to get them up to B2. And so we can offer them this learning experience, and we can learn from their learning experience. So we have a broader access now, and people accept it. I think before, people wouldn't accept it as easily. So the pandemic has forced us into that. The other piece of change in life I thought I wanted to share is just the hard conversations. And so we're right now doing this beautiful project in Peru. I go to Peru every week, like 3 times a week. I go to Peru. It's lovely. But we see what our teachers are struggling with. The pandemic has made it really hard for them to function for many. And so we are having some hard conversations about loss, about grief. And I think that one of the big changes for the pandemic that I hope that we all learn to talk about death and talk about loss in a way that we honor each other's processes, that we hear each other, that we realize that this kind of loss gives life meaning. And it is a conversation that now we can have, and we need to have sometimes with people that before we wouldn't have had that conversation.
Yes.
And that's going to connect us more as humanity, I think, because it's what, death gives meaning to life, loss gives meaning to life. And it helps us realize that we are all human. And yes, maybe we're in different boats, but we all are in this together. So the one, I want to offer one object because I have a hard time sometimes just talking. So I brought a couple things to share with you all today. Can you see what this is?
Could you please bring it
there we go.
A little bit back? Okay.
It's an ugly stone.
No, it's not ugly.
It's a stone, yeah.
It's a stone, but it's not beautiful. And it's rough.
Kind of a rock.
Yeah. And what's magical about this, it might not be nice to hold in our hands immediately, but when you open it up, inside you'll see beautiful treasures.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you were together, I would pass this around so you could touch it, hold it, and see it. But this to me is what's happening for us in the pandemic too. We have things that we see as ugly or hard or difficult, maybe not smooth, but inside there is a kind of beauty. So that's what I brought to share today about how things in my life have changed. Thank you for the opportunity and the question.
No, thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Yes.
Please, Mónica in Argentina.
Yes, I was listening to Mary, and I was thinking precisely about the importance of these type of conversations, of these hard conversations we are all having that are so much connected to our world, to our lives. And I think that this has been also a blessing in terms of having real conversations as humans, right? If I had to think about of the great outcomes of this situation, is that we have all been connected through our humanity. And this is also, I think, something that will endure into the future. Our way of teaching has changed. Our lives have changed. My life has changed so much and at so many different levels during the last year that I cannot even think about it. I used to be, as Mary was saying, I used to be traveling once a month at least, and meeting all of you face to face and having my sessions on social and emotional learning and mindfulness. And this was so human. And then I lost that. And I feel very, very comfortable using technology and having my sessions online. But that is one of the things that I miss the most as a speaker, having the possibility of hugging you, of learning about your cultures and your lives and being there, enjoying our energy, right? Like our physical energy. This is one of the things I miss the most. At the same time, at a personal level, I have learned so much during this last year. I have been so much more connected to my girls. I've had to be their teacher again. And this has been an experience that I had never had. I didn't know my daughters as learners because this used to happen at the school environment, right? And now I had my little girl, Aileen, that started first grade in primary school last year. So I had to be with her all the time. And I discovered her as a learner. And I discovered so many things about her sharing this process that we didn't used to share this with the kids around in our family. And this has been a blessing for me. Being her teacher, apart from being her mom, has been one of the most important, radically changing experiences during this last year. But I think that in terms of our profession, these will bring us to a more humane level, you know? And being an expert on social and emotional learning, I'm really happy that all this is happening. This is transformational for what we do, because it reminds us that as teachers, we don't teach content. There is no content to share if we cannot reach our students at their griefs, at their losses, at their human level. So I'm also grateful that this change is happening, because I think that it would have taken us, it's the same as with technology. It would have taken us, I don't know, 10 more years to shift into this new era, right?
Yeah, thank you, Mónica. Wonderful ideas, just like Mary. Please, Larissa in Colombia.
Let me see if the connection helps, Jaime. Tell me if connection is okay, please. Okay.
It's okay, Larissa.
Thank you. In terms of changes, I totally agree with Mónica. That's why one of the words is generosity, because I think that the pandemic has changed us a lot in terms of being generous, being empathetic with people around us. I have learned a lot about that. And of course, if you live alone, so you learn to be in solitude, and that teaches you a lot. I mean, you don't need to be in contact, face to face with people to tell them that you love them. That's why we use phone calls. That's why we have to send messages every day to express them that we are there by them, but we are not together. In terms of teaching, I have learned a lot. I have changed a lot. My lessons were face-to-face lessons, but now I have to use remote teaching. And I learned a lot in terms of teacher talking time. Sometimes we talk too much in our classes, but with this, we have to engage students so that they participate in class, that they want to be eager to contribute, to work together. So that is one of the changes. I have learned a lot about that. Additionally, assessment. Let me tell you that I am, maybe you are in favor of, but I don't like exams. I mean, exams in terms of memory, I don't like them. So this remote teaching, this pandemic has taught a lot about assessment, how to look for formative assessment techniques, classroom assessment techniques that teach you, that let you know that your students learn, but not memory, not for the time, not for the moment, but that they can apply what they have learned in real context. That's basically what the pandemic has changed into my life, Jaime and dear colleagues.
Thank you, Larissa, for so wonderful ideas. Thank you so much. Please, Raj in Canada.
I think quite a few things have been mentioned before about the change in travel schedule for people and more online classrooms. I think a big part that I want to focus on is the amount of time I've taken for self-reflection as well, to see what is it that I need to redesign or relearn for myself so that I can respond better to this very difficult time that we're navigating. So in terms of what that brings to teaching is a deeper understanding of the need for social emotional connection, creating resonant classrooms, and so that there is a resonant space for the student to be in, because we are not able to see the students in person, so we don't know how they're being impacted. So how to build that resonance and connection in a virtual classroom. And that is brought to mind is the diversity of experiences people are having, how to include the diverse students in the experience, how to create a sense of belonging on the classroom, how in a virtual classroom, how to create belonging in which each student feels they belong. And of course, the breakout rooms are very helpful for that. So it's overall like on a personal level, on a relational level, and on a global level, having international, but you know, friends and teachers to communicate with is a big gift of the pandemic for us. And hopefully we can adapt and innovate together.
Yeah, a gift. It is a gift, Raj.
A gift.
Definitely.
Adapting in different countries, different adaptations and innovations are happening all at the same time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Raj. Now, Maria Elba in Bolivia. Maria Elba. Okay, let's wait for her.
Her microphone is off.
The mic is off.
Ah.
Turn on your mic, Maria Elba.
Maria Elba. Airplane.
The plane has taken her.
Okay, while she's connecting, Ilka in Ecuador, please.
Thank you. Jaime, you made the first question in the beginning of this meeting about the 3 words. And one of the words that I presented to all of you was the patience to discover and rediscover. One of the huge things that I have learned through this difficult time, not only about the teaching, the study, and personal life, is that we do need, and thank God that we have had time to reflect and to discover our own skills, our own strengths, and the way that we have been able to adapt. Regarding the teaching, one of the things that I have learned was to control my own anxiety, since I was used to teach face-to-face classes. So I went through my own experience through a mock course, 2 mock courses, as a matter of fact, to see how these online classes work. Listening to every presentation here and trying to implement what I have learned with my students. One of the huge moments that I had was my own classes will never be like the face-to-face classes that I used to have. And I needed to create activities, asynchronous and synchronic activities that would help my students feel that I was there. I was there, I was with them, I was working with them and helping them to learn this language called English. But I'm sure that that fact of including asynchronic and synchronic activities, it's something that we can adapt in any course, in any class. As a matter of fact, yes, generosity, yes, sharing your fears, your anxiety, but also the positive results, because some of the Spanish teachers that used to know me, they were asking me, how do you teach this? How do you replace the activities? And I understood that all of us were going through the same process. So I'm very well known for the phrase here, nos angustiamos en orden. We go in anxiety, but through order. So I try to share with them, like, listen, face-to-face classes are not the same. You need to include asynchronic activities before, during, and after the classes, so the students will go on their same pace, with their same flexibility and difficulties, of course. And that helped me reduce the anxiety. I guess one of the huge learners that I have gotten through this pandemic so far, and I'm still adapting and using it with my adult classes, because that's the level that I'm teaching right now, adults, it's that we talk about this theoretical framework about learning by doing. Well, this has been the year where we have practicing learning by doing, because I have gone through that process. Learn by doing with technology, learn by doing, practicing all the different gadgets and you know, platforms. I needed to learn how to use Canvas within 2 weeks. And I was coming from Moodle, for example. And at the same time, that practice has also helped me to see my students in their own shoes, because now I can see how difficult it is. We are not going to assume that it's easy to understand something because we understand it. So it has been a great year, again, through being patient and discover and rediscover your own strength as a human being. Because yes, I have had lost of friends and my students and the family and the friends. I'm sorry, I get emotional, but we needed to go through that process and discover that we were able to be there to support others. And that means that we needed to become stronger than we used to think we were. So it has been a great learning experience through all this year. And talking about death, it's something that we need to go through too, because it's there. We're losing friends, we're losing colleagues, we're losing relatives, we're losing students because they're there, maybe in a Zoom class, but they're not going to be there probably the next 15 days. So we need to adapt not only in our teaching, but also in our own skills and strengths as human beings, because we need to be strong for others, for Spanish teachers, for other people that don't have the benefit of technology, like in the countryside in my country. We need to be there to provide answers, hope, so they will be able to face the challenges and deal with the hardest part of the pandemic. And of course, we're there as teachers to provide teaching alternatives, teaching possibilities. And my great learning was the asynchronous and the synchronic activities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Ilka in Ecuador. And as Mary was the first one who mentioned death. And as you said, I also, my sister lost a son. And I guess we shouldn't be afraid of talking about death, because it implies that we, as Julio said, that we are alive, and something that we are learning, I guess. And we have, and we should never forget, is that we have to be grateful every single minute, every single hour, week, day, month, that there are many things to be grateful about. Some things so simple as this. Thank you, Irma, for your words. Please, Chris in Chiclayo, Peru.
Yeah, I think as people have touched, I think as Mónica said and Tito mentioned in the chat, we've had a lot of changes placed upon us, and they've all come really all at once. Yeah, there's been no breathing space. So we've all had to resort to this technology. And in me personally, I'm a bit of a technophobe. I'm not very good with technology. So that's been a struggle for me, but my colleagues and my family and the students as well, they've all helped. Yeah, they've all helped. So, you know, on a professional level, it's been difficult, and I'm still finding it difficult, to be honest, but it's something we have to do. On a personal level, I've been extremely lucky. My family is safe, touch wood, and I have a granddaughter who's I had the joy of watching her grow up. You know, normally you'd see her once, twice a week, but she's been here every day, and that's been wonderful. So I feel blessed, to be honest. I feel blessed. I feel guilty because luckily enough, we haven't been touched by too much sorrow. And yeah, that's all I can say, really.
Thank you so much, dear Chris. Julio in Lima, Peru. Your microphone, Julio.
Sorry. Speaking of using technology, yeah, there you are. I think, just to summarize part of what you've mentioned, I think this pandemic has brought so many things. I would say just too much too soon. No, we have had to face so many changes. We have to deal with so many unexpected things. And the good thing in general for my life, for my teaching, for my studies, that has brought me back to the start. No, I know that I have to start doing it again. No, reshaping my teaching, adapting myself to the use of technology, having the knowledge that face-to-face class, you cannot just extrapolate it to an online learning. Also, that as Raj said, reflection, that's so important. I've been conducting a course on self-reflection, which involves videotaping one of your lessons and then you yourself writing your report. No? And when I watched the video, it was interesting because some teachers still they go back to the use of Spanish to explain some words to basic level, and I say, wow, that's so similar to a face-to-face class, no? So that made me realize that we still have lots of things to do as more experienced teachers, and something that we have to our advantage for most of us is that wisdom. Wisdom is developed through experience. Yeah? And even if I am in front of a young, sassy teacher, that, yeah, I know everything about the use of computers and the technology and everything, I always think, he doesn't develop that wisdom that I still have with me. And that I use it to my advantage. I think that's very important too, because it has to do with the teacher self, has to do with humanity, that's what you've mentioned here, has to do with mindfulness. Even when you mention mindfulness now to young teachers, they say, what? What's that? No? Yes. So when they say that, they say, one day I will introduce you to Mary Scholl. She's the one that taught me mindfulness. And she's really, Mary, I was not a believer of mindfulness. When I was in her course, and I have to tell her, I said, Mary was struggling. The second day, Mary wanted to send me back to Peru. Yes, because I was like, nah, come on, mindfulness, nah, that's for Jamaica, no, with listening to reggae music. Oh yeah, man. But then I started to realize, and little by little, now I'm using it. I'm applying. I'm not only with my peers, my colleagues, my students, but also with myself. And that's the important thing. And yes, please be grateful that that we have a job. Now, most people have lost their jobs everywhere. So we are alive. And I just want to tell you an anecdote regarding to being alive. I had a very serious operation last year, and I was postponing it because of the COVID. No, I didn't want to go to a clinic to be operated on because of the pandemic, but I had to do it. I had a tumor in my brain, and okay, let's go. Let's see. Nobody could go. None of my family could go to the clinic because of the COVID, and so I was alone, and I was with my telephone. No? And to my aunties, auntie, I'm going to be operated on, and I don't know if I'm going. How am I going to what's going to be the result of this operation? So everybody was telling me, why you're crazy? Why you didn't tell me before? I said, no, take it easy, just relax. No. And after the operation, the first thing I did was I opened my eyes. I was in ICU. I said, okay, can I move my legs? Yes. Can I move my hands? Okay. And then I said, can I think in English? I was thinking about my job. And I said, good morning, my name is, okay, yes, that's okay. So that's no problem there. So I just wanted to tell you this because we have to be grateful. We have to be grateful. Yes, and we still have the opportunity to change lives, whether face-to-face or online. And that's the point. No, we need to share that with our younger colleagues, that we still have the opportunity to change lives. Do not forget that we are always not just instructing people. I mean, we have to find a balance between the teacher self and the technology. Technology is not everything. Technology is just the textbook of today. That's it. Well, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. Maybe you didn't know, but Mary Scholl called me and she said, I can't stand Julio anymore. I said, come on, take it easy. No, she didn't. No, she. And secondly, thank you for sharing your testimony about your operation. And you are right. The question that you didn't ask yourself was, who am I? And you forgot. But thank you, Julio, so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and
I have one quick comment that I want to share, and I hope that it gives us all strength and hope. I've always believed, so Julio, I never called Jaime. I've always loved you, and I've never wanted to send you home.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I actually always believe that the people who resist the most actually will have the potential to be the deepest believers in the long run. It's that resistance that they really dig into, like, no. And I see it sort of as like creating a space inside of themselves, which then can open up. And Julio, you proved me right again. and so I think it's important for us to cherish someone who's resisting, because that actually is a sign of connection.
Thank you.
So Mary, Julio has to go back to Costa Rica.
Yeah, you gotta come back and do it again.
But not for 1 week, but 1 month.
I think everybody here should come for a month. I would love that.
We will, for sure. Thank you. Now, Maria Elba Zambrana in Bolivia, please. Maria Elba, your microphone.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. The experience here in Bolivia is different of, I think, all of your countries, because we don't have the opportunity to work with our students when we start, or when we teach face to face. We never use cells. Cells are forbidden, so they never use in classes. No cells in the class. So when we have the pandemic and we have to start with online classes, everybody was completely confused. The students don't know what to do, the teachers the same. And when we started learning and working with online, a lot of students don't have internet, another one don't have cells, don't have computers. So we had 20 instead of 40 students in classes. Then immediately the government closed the year. I think it's the only country that closed the education, especially the public education. And we have to put a note, all the students pass the course, and we don't have any other classes during the year. But the teachers did, we updated with the technology. We have a lot of classes, virtual classes, to know the platforms, to know online skills, how to do our next classes with our students. And we were all the time in contact, all the teachers. We have a lot of organizations that gave us how to teach online. So that is I think that the students felt frustrated because they stop when they are beginning to work online, and the teachers too. So, but I have the opportunity to have all the time our international groups that are continuously giving us webinars, giving us something to learn, something to share with us, and was very, very interesting and fruitful.
Okay.
Talking about the emotional situation of the teachers were also very, very sad, because we had a lot of problems, not only for the COVID, but some people fell down sick because of the psychological situation. Was very hard for all of them. That's what I can say about the impact, the emotional impact that we have during the pandemic.
Thank you so much, Maria Elba. And let me reveal something. Maria Elba had a big problem with one of her hands. I guess you, but still she was working and working and working and doing the convention in Bolivia. So thank you so much for that, Maria Elba. So now let's go. Now let's go to the.
I am grateful to the life because I only broke my arm and have a big damage in my right elbow and shoulder, but nothing else. So I am fine. Thank
you, Maria Elba. Fortunately, only those two little things. Fortunately.
Yes.
Now let's go to the final questions. I would thank you very much if you give us shorter answers, okay? And let's do. I'm not telling you that we can be here the 24 hours, but some people have to cook, some people have to do the washing up, and keep on celebrating like Julio. So, okay, let's go to the next question. In what ways were you able to maintain your sanity during the last? In what ways? Let me say something about this. Me doing karaoke and drinking wine, singing to myself for 1 hour, crying, feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling depressed. But after the 1 hour, I felt new again. And now I'm trotting, I'm jogging in the mornings and sometimes in the afternoon. And that is helping me. And of course, these wonderful meetings that I don't like to call them workshops or webinars because they don't give you the human, but a meeting, a reunion that makes it more human. As Mónica mentioned and she wrote in the chat, the most human profession is this one, definitely. So we are going to start with Julio. Please, in what ways were you able to maintain your sanity? And let's be brief, please. 1, 2, 3. Your microphone, Julio.
Oh my God, okay. I shall omit the part of the Jamaican part and music and everything, no? No, okay. I think playing with board games with my family. We get together Friday or Saturday and we stay for 2-3 hours playing board games with my wife and my kids. And that was great. Yes, sharing with the family and also going and walking around a park. Yes, that's what I do. Yeah. Your mic.
That was good, Julio. Family time. Chris, in Chiclayo, Peru.
I think Netflix, Amazon Prime, and watching football on Saturday. That's kept me sane. And of course, my family.
Oh, great. Ilka?
I will say having a goal. My daughter is pregnant for the first time, so she gave me something to plan and think about it, even though, yeah, I'm gonna be a grandma.
A new grandmother, a new grandmother.
A new, brandly new. It's gonna be this coming month. So she gave me something to think about outside of the pandemic situation, even though with all the risks. But then, yes, having a reading group and getting together in Zoom, that has helped me. And also Netflix, yes, that was great help.
Yeah, thank you. Maria Elba in Bolivia.
Okay, what I did, I have short walkings with my husband. We live alone, and she's in charge of give me vitamins, a good nutrition. They do everything at home. So at the end of the week, we listen to music and drink a little wine.
See, wine works, wine works. Mary Scholl in Costa Rica.
I'm not the only one with the tech problems, huh?
Yeah, okay. So we don't.
Okay, sorry, I have two. No,
Mary.
I have two puppies, and I've watched them grow up, and that's been fun. And taking walks and having nice conversations with people.
Yeah.
And mindfulness, meditation.
Yeah, that's important, right, Mary? Meditate. Raj in Canada.
Yeah, I agree with what's being said. The practice of mindfulness, walks in nature, my precious family and friends. And I think I'm just going to work with what Julio said. Wisdom is developed through experience. And I think that's an important piece. Knowledge is learning something new. Wisdom is letting go of what's no longer serving life. So how to be wise and knowledgeable. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Dixie in Mexico.
Well, I've been doing virtual marathons. Let me show you my medals.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really great because I do exercise and I get out to nature, and so I can meditate in nature, and I have a goal. So I'm combining several of your strategies.
Thank you, Dixie. Larissa in Colombia.
Well, Colin, talking to my parents every single day, meeting my family every Sunday on Zoom. We had games on Zoom, listening to music. I don't know too much about mindfulness, but I try to practice it, and I believe on mindfulness. And of course, I have a German Shepherd, and I usually walk it every night, so that's good for me as well. And as you said, Jaime, wine is perfect. And I also drink wine. I mean, that's part of that helps us.
Yeah, thank you, Larissa. I guess other people here drink wine, but they don't say it. So anyway, next, Mónica.
Others need to learn to drink.
Yeah, Mónica in Argentina.
Well, I just have to admit, I've done most of the things. I've done the wine, I've been to the walkings, but I think that the one thing that has kept my sanity has been walking my talk. I've been meditating a lot. I've been doing a lot of mindfulness, but most importantly, I have given myself the permission to feel what I was feeling through this crisis. And this is something that I am always teaching teachers to do through emotional regulation and emotional intelligence. But this time, it was my time to walk the talk. So I think that was one of the most precious things I've given myself. I've given myself the time to inhabit my difficult emotions and to be there for myself as well.
I love what you said, Mónica. Give myself the permission to feel all the emotions. I want to cry. I want to laugh. Yeah. I want to dance. Right. I agree with you again. Okay, this is the time for our friends who are with us, who are not guest speakers, but are wonderful speakers in their classes. So if somebody here wants to talk, anybody, the question was, how did you maintain your sanity? In what ways were you able to maintain your sanity? What did you do? Briefly, please, anybody?
I would like to say,
please,
thank you very much for the opportunity. To practice positive psychology is very important. No matter what the problems are, you have to keep it up. It means a smile, but you don't have to hide your own emotions and feelings. It's not bad to be sad or to be angry sometimes, but you cannot keep your angriness or your sadness for a long period of time. So try to cut it up and keep it happily living.
Especially, Ruben, since we are grandfathers, right?
Oh, of course. Yes, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a blessing, isn't it?
Sure, it is.
Okay, anybody else? Somewhere else? Ivan Suazo in Costa Rica. You are lucky, man.
Yeah, we are all lucky, yeah. My experience is being curious with what is, not resisting, welcoming, embracing, loving what is.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. Anybody else, please? Hello, Anthony, Michael.
Yes, it's a very wonderful time to understand ourselves, because of the situation, I was able to look at myself more closely, look at my strengths, look at my weakness. I am not a grandfather yet. I'm a newly married. So it helped me to also understand who I really am. And then to understand also, the beautiful thing about family sharing among your family members and friends. It was really, really a good experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'd like to say something, Jaime.
Please do, please do.
Well, in my case, it has given me the opportunity to learn a little bit more about myself, not a little bit, a lot. And to come closer to my God. If in the past I used to pray in the morning, now I pray 3 times a day. And it has given me the opportunity to learn about my family. My girl was telling me, she's 13 years old, she was telling me, Dad, it's been 25 years, you never been in one of these school events. And I go, yeah, I worked so hard taking care of my job, and I was never there for you. So now I'm getting to know them better. I'm getting to know their weaknesses and my weaknesses as well. And I'm working on that. We're getting to know each other better, and finding ways to solve everyday situations. One of them, such as this one, when we kind of notice that we are easily losing our patience. So what we do is we try to break that by one always saying, Dad, can we go outside and play ball? Or maybe we take a walk. So I think that has been a great blessing for us to learn to deal with this being inside 4 walls. And in my case, it's just an apartment, it's not that big. So that, and I'm very grateful for that. And every day I do thank God for that. Thank you.
No, thank you, Tito. Thank you, Tito. I like, most people here are saying that to be aware of our strengths, but also to be aware of our weaknesses. Yeah, that's good to realize how good, how bad, how strong, how weak we are emotionally, physically, mentally, and everything else. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question. What opportunities, what new skills, what new ideas, what new tools for teaching have resulted from this unusual year? Let's start with Dixie.
Yeah, I'd like to point out the opportunity to have guest teachers in my classes. This has been enriching for everybody involved. it's really fast and easy to set up. And so I would like to take the opportunity to invite any of you to visit my classes or to invite me to your classes. It would be a pleasure. And that's what I value. I mean, there are many things, but that's what I value the most, I think.
Well, I will invite you,
okay,
Dixie, to one of my, I'm teaching grammar, I guess, literature. I'm teaching literature this coming semester. So it would be nice if you are with my students.
Okay, thank you. I'll be waiting for the invitation.
Thank you. Raj?
So I think the hybrid learning, some virtual, some in-person learning, when that happens, which has really allowed us to create more flexibility in how we assess the students as well. And I think there's a greater independence for some students because they can self-direct their learning. And at the same time, noticing that some students may need higher level of support. And so how to have the students support each other and building some systems like that, more flexibility and finding different ways to assess, more choice for students, and demonstrate that we're prepared to be more flexible and to create resonant classrooms so that all participants can feel that they belong in the classroom.
Thank you, Raj. Julio in Lima. Julio, your microphone.
Hi, sorry. I think it's opening doors for what I'm always advocating for, no? Research, yes? Especially here in Latin America where we don't have much of that. It's giving me the opportunity to think about how we can, and I don't know if you have been following my LinkedIn, is motivation. I'm very interested in how do you engage your students? How do you motivate your students to follow? How do you deal with the ghost students, no? It's like, Dixie, are you there? No, or when you are working and I say, Larissa, what is your answer? And Larissa, I call the flatliners, no? The flatliners students. And I say, okay, what can you do in order to do that? I mean, some of you work with teachers in teacher training courses, which it has an advantage. They have that desire to learn, yes? But what about primary teachers? What about secondary teachers? How do they deal with that? Yes,
kindergarten teachers too.
Kindergarten teachers. That's why lots of nursery schools are closing down because parents, they take it out. Because in the end, parents are the ones who do all the job at home. Yes,
yes.
Which that's the procedure, but they don't understand. So it's giving plenty of room for doing some research on those aspects. No, from what I've read, and please correct me if I'm wrong, most of the online teaching research is based on at university level.
Yeah.
You don't have much on primary, you don't have much on secondary. So
kindergarten either.
That's even less, no? So we have to start walking towards that idea. What can we do in order to give teachers more tools? Now, nowadays, we're just focusing on the use of technology. Okay, that's all right. That's one step. Yes, but what else? Let's go beyond that, the use of technology. Yes, as a teacher, what can I do? What skills, what new skills I have to develop? All right, motivating my students. How can I motivate my students? The answers I receive is yes, the use of videos and so, the usual thing. It hasn't changed from using a textbook and using online. But just imagine a student who is behind the screen, watching you do things, and they doing nothing. They're doing anything, yes? And one of the key aspects of online teaching is that learner independence, is that collaboration, yes? It's active learning. So what's active learning? Doing things. Okay, are you giving them the opportunity to do things? No, but I have to cover the 45 minutes of my class, no? But take 20 minutes of those so they can work together without being behind the screen. No, because my coordinator, my principal is not going to understand that. Okay, that's our job nowadays. Make the authorities, make the decision makers, make the parents understand that this kind of teaching and learning process is different from the ones we have when we use textbooks. And it's here to stay, no? Whether hybrid or blended, but or fully online. But the ones who are behind that is the teacher. Yeah. We are the ones who are behind whatever way of teaching you are going to decide to use. So to me, it has given me lots of food for thought in different areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. And let me mention that next semester, we are going to invite teachers from kindergarten who are never heard, never given, they are never heard or given a space to express what they do. And we all know, because we were children, that the best moment to start learning anything is when we are little children, not when we are at university, but we are always talking about university level, school level, we always say secondary or primary, but we never mention
kindergarten.
Kindergarten, okay? And Irma, because you're going to be a grandmother, just like me, you will understand. Okay, let's go with Mónica in Argentina, please.
I would like to share, and I will be kind of touching down on what Julio was mentioning on the importance of motivation and engagement, right? That's always what we are thriving for, right? That's what we want in our classes and in our sessions. And I have like two different kind of populations that I teach. On one hand, I share experiences with teachers through teacher training, but I also have a lot of students themselves. But a common practice that has been working a lot for me, it's doing with both teachers and students an emotional check-in at the beginning of a class. And this has worked wonders in terms of students, because if we talk about engagement, we really need to engage them again at a human level. We need to engage their emotions. We need to give them space so that they can be seen, so that they can be heard, so that they feel important and they feel seen by us. And this is a radical change when we talk about engagement. So these emotional check-ins that of course come in different formats according to the age group or the age range you're addressing. They come in different formats, but they have this common objective of creating a space before you start delivering your class and engaging them at different intellectual levels, of engaging them at an emotional level. And so these very short, I would say 5 minutes, 7 minutes emotional check-ins at the beginning of my sessions have been great.
Yeah, thank you, Mónica. Chris in Chiclayo, Peru. Chris, your microphone.
Yeah, thank you. My mouse went missing for a moment. Yeah, from my point of view, we just started this year using the new platform, which is very, very physical for the teachers. You know, you have to run around the classroom and get the boys engaged. And going from doing that to then the Zoom classes has been quite a change. But what I found is that the Zoom has allowed some of the shyer boys, some of the boys who tend to sort of not get involved, to actually participate more and to contribute more to the class. And I think it's because some of them feel confident that, you know, more confident being away from their peers, and also, you know, being alone. So that's been good, that some of the boys who normally wouldn't get involved have begun to shine through. You've had the normal, the boy, you know, there's always 1 or 2 boys in each class who don't care, you know, and unfortunately some of that is continued with the Zoom classes and the technology classes. But yeah, on the whole, I found that some of the shyer boys and the more timid boys have grown in confidence from using Zoom. And I just hope that if ever we go back to normal classes, that this can continue. So I've been looking for more ways to motivate the boys. This is a big challenge.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Thank you. Ilka in Ecuador.
Yes, well, I just mentioned it before, the asynchronic component, but with that, one of the hugest changes and challenges for me was to provide feedback. you know, and provided feedback, I'm not talking about only the score or the bottom line after one activity. I'm talking about, and I think it's very important, and it has been very important to provide it. One of the things that I learned was Google Meet for students who don't have the access to Zoom, but they do have Gmail or something like that, or they prefer. So providing feedback in the sense that going with the student, providing the support of the students, even though it's starting with the question like, I miss you in my class yesterday, anything that happened to you? Questions like that, because we never know what happened with the students. And that's the human part and the feelings part, and probably the motivational. They were depressed, they didn't care, they didn't want to participate, they forgot about the homework that they were supposed to be doing. So feedback for me was very, very important. It still is, but in the sense, again, not to provide a score, but to be there, to make the questions that will provoke their attention, questions that will provoke their thinking, and probably they will connect with the class and then continue with the work. And also because the students, something that I have noticed more through all these years, they have different timing for learning for sure. And sometimes having 25 students in the class, it gives, it's harder for a teacher to keep track of every single student. But for me, providing the feedback, using the Google Meet or Zoom individually and asking them about what's the difficult situation. And sometimes they have ended talking about a family situation, not anything connected to academic. It has been a great challenge, but also a great learning experience to go beyond the academic and also realize, like I said at the beginning, this is a global situation and we need to adapt, we need to change. And of course, I agree, this is the best time to research in our region because most of the research are from Asia or from other countries. So this is our time to produce our own research and our own results and compare probably between our countries. So I invite you to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma. Larissa, in Colombia.
Thank you, Jaime. Well, talking about opportunities, I think that one of the most important opportunities is knowing about my students. When you are in the classroom, when you are in face-to-face lessons, you don't have the chance to know about their families, about their houses, about the environment. But with this remote teaching, and as Mónica said at the beginning of the lesson, we had the chance to talk about their lives, their families, to turn on cameras and to see where they live, to know about their pets, to have different activities to know more about them. And as Irma said, to know more, to explore more and to value the human side. Because sometimes we focus on content, as Julio Valladares said, content, because we have to cover these in face-to-face lessons. Additionally, I had the opportunity to invite guests. In face-to-face lessons, that was difficult. But now, for example, I could invite a leader of a project, talking to them about listening. My parents were invited to one of the lessons. They know my parents, so that was great. And of course, in terms of new skills, that was talking, learning about technology. And let me tell you that I tried a lot about gamification because I truly believe that I'm not the center of the lesson. So I created gamification activities for them to work in groups, to create, to know about content, to develop competencies for them as a group. And then we provided feedback. So I learned about this, new skills, new opportunities about this like pandemic year.
Thank you, Larissa. You remind me of this this plenary I was invited to give at Beta Tisol, and the participants told me that they had classes where they introduced their pets, and everyone knew everyone's pets. And the same thing happened with their parents or favorite brother or favorite sister. And that was amazing. I'm thinking about doing that and introduce my daughter's pet to my students and to see what happens. That's a way maybe of making it more human, right, Mónica? Okay.
And I mean, let me tell you, and they feel more involved in the lesson.
Yes, they do.
Because they feel that we really care about them. I asked once, okay, I want to know your pet. And all of them brought cats, dogs, and they were talking about their pets. That was great.
And what was the reaction of the pets?
They were like, quiet. Like, okay, I'm here, I don't know what to do. They were nice. And even as once I also asked them to let me know about one relative. My class was at 7 in the morning. So they say, no, professor, that's difficult. They are sleeping. I am the only one here having class with you. So, but that was great.
But that's true, that's true. Okay, Maria Elba in Bolivia. Maria Elba, your microphone. Maria Elba. Is she around?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. I am working now with some teachers that work in province, and I like to play during the classes. So we are trying to do with the students that they have to talk with their parents and tell us for the next class what are the games that they did in their province or city, how they play when they were children. And they draw la coscoja, they play a lot of beautiful games that we have, plays that we have when we were children. And they start with that and love to do that because they introduce their grandfather and say, my grandfather play with trompos or jump in the coscoja, and they know all that their grandparents did when they were a child. And the student tried to explain a little in English, and when we have an beautiful experience, because when one of the students introduced their grandpa, they start speaking Quechua, and all the students are very quiet. And when I say, who speak Quechua? And nobody say nothing. And then one for that, and we had a lot of people, a lot of students that talk Quechua. And we use this kind of activities if they send us photos doing the same in the province, and also some of them draw the games that they play, and we use some new vocabulary saying what they usually did your grandpas or fathers, and this gave them emotion to do the class and learn the new units, and we have very nice results with that.
Thank you, Maria Elba. And finally, Mary Scholl in Costa Rica, please.
I think everything has been mentioned. But the one thing I think maybe I could add is less is more. How do we work with less content? And I've always been an advocate as less is more. So now we have conditions where we have to have less. We have to work with less content and give more space to the students to interact with the content. And I think it's richer.
Yeah.
Richer, so.
Yeah. Okay, now we are We are about to finish with the questions, and the next question is, what is the future of this new language teaching? What is the future? So let's see what you can say, Chris.
Excuse me. Well, obviously, I think we now have to embrace technology. It's come sooner than we expected, but we have to embrace it and work with it and make it work. And that, I think, is what's going to happen. That's going to happen. Apart from that, my students are telling me that the zombie apocalypse is coming. So we may not have to worry about anything. It may all be over.
A zombie what?
Zombie apocalypse. Apparently, it's just around the corner. My students keep telling me, you know, there's no time for homework because we could all be dead by then. Which is, you know,
and secondary school, right?
Secondary school, yeah, secondary school. So yeah, but yeah, I think technology, we're having to meet it head on. It's arrived maybe perhaps sooner than we expected, or sooner than many of us are comfortable with. But I think this is it. This is the future's now, if you like.
Yeah, thank you. Julio in Lima, what is the future of English language teaching? Julio, your microphone.
Pardon. To me is, again, the opportunity to apply many of the cliches that we've been using for so many years. No? The typical unlearn, learn, and relearn. No? So that cliche or that phrase came from so many years ago, but this is the opportunity to put it in practice. And I think, in my case, I've been applying it to my teaching, to my life. Also to really put into practice active learning. Yes, the use of technology is a good opportunity to develop that active learning. Again, everybody talks about active learning, but do we use it? Do we know how to apply it? Can we do it? Should we do it? So, hey, now we have the opportunity, and also the opportunity to do more self-reflection. The use of online, you can record your class, your lesson, and then you can watch it again, and then you can check on your strengths and weaknesses, depending on the level, depending on the time of the day, and that will give you plenty of information for you to use in your next class. So again, the future of English here is how we react to the use of technology. No? Am I going to do self-reflection? Am I going to really use active learning? Am I going to use, I am willing to unlearn, learn and relearn. And I go back again. Do I want to be an educator? Now, this is also a good opportunity for us to form students. Yes, and not only just continue being instructors. And I think that's one of the main problems here. Yeah, that's the idea. No? And also the opportunity to prepare ourselves. No? Now we are in a world where we are webinarized. No? Everything is about webinars. Everything is about webinars. No? Everybody gives a webinar. So, okay, but let's start again, reshaping that idea. Okay, why am I giving this webinar? Who is it for? What is the benefit for the students or the teachers who attend my seminar? Yes, can I get some feedback? Can I do some follow-up? No, so it's not just a matter of delivering a webinar. That's easy. No, the most difficult part is, hey, what else can I do? And the technology helps us. No, please send us your feedback. Please send me if you have, how many of you have really applied what I've presented in a webinar. Yes, so those are aspects that we should be reflecting on and focusing on.
Yeah, yeah. Your comments, Julio, remind me of you saying, okay, how many conventions and seminars and symposiums have you attended, and how many certificates you got? But the big question is, how many of these things that you learned have you applied them in your class? And that is that question, right? Thank you, Julio. Maria Elba in Bolivia. Your microphone, Maria Elba. Maria Elba, just like the class.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, Maria Elba.
Okay, I think that the future of language learning has a great deal to get excited. Language schools may want to look onto the softwares options are available to them, to learning new methodologies, straining their teaching language on student skills too. In fact, language teachers today are faced with so many fascinating options and for using the technology and enhance our language teaching, our language learning, that it can be overviewing. So I think that the future, we will have a very enhanced teaching language. We can, as you say, we attend a lot of webinars, but how of them we use in our classes, how we select that game or that tools that they use it. So I think that step by step, we are going to enhance our language teaching with our new technology. I think it's very big, the future of our language teaching.
Thank you, Maria Elba. Raj, in Canada?
I see the future as the teachers become the connector. The teachers connected to self, teachers connected to the students, building connection between students. And I think Mónica was mentioning about creating an environment in which there's a belonging. The student feels a sense of belonging and has the empathy and understanding so that the learning is increased when the brain is relaxed and there's a sense of deeper connection. So creating resonance classrooms is what really comes to mind. As a facilitator, as a juggler of energy. And with that juggling of energy comes the openness for learning.
Thank you, Raj. Larissa, in Colombia.
I would add what Raj said, to be a connector, basically creating community, but not only among colleagues, teachers, but also parents, because this pandemic has taught us that parents must be involved in teaching, in the learning process. So one of the aspects is a community, but also in terms of teachers, students, but also parents. Second, technology, you have mentioned that. And I also think that the future has to do with the dimensions of the human being. Sometimes we focus on doing and learning, but not on the being. And I think that we can promote the being in our teaching, in our lessons, in order to reach the learning outcomes. That must be one of the aspects in our learning outcomes. And of course, with that, we can also have differentiated learning. I totally agree with Julio when he says we should apply what we say. And that's part of that. Applying differentiated learning. Our learners are not the same. They are unique and they are different. And I think that gamification can help us to promote that differentiated learning. And of course, we have the future of English teaching must be focused also on assessment. Assessment must be changed. Assessment is not just a test in which you prove a memory. We must know about grammar, vocabulary, but it is application in context.
Yeah. Thank you, Larissa. Mónica, in Argentina?
I think these are just great ideas, and I couldn't agree more. So I would only use one more word to think about the future of English and teaching English and learning English. And I think that that word sums up many of the ideas you have shared, that I think it will be integral in terms of understanding our students as whole beings, and beyond that, creating learning and teaching environments that are addressed to this whole approach to teaching.
Okay, thank you, Mónica. Mary Scholl in Costa Rica, please.
Thanks, thanks, Mary. Thanks, everybody. And I agree with Mónica. I think so many beautiful things have been said. The only thing I would add right now is creativity. And I think that we need to focus on always touching into and creating space and stimulus for our own creativity and students' creativity.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. And finally, Dixie in Mexico.
Well, I agree with everybody saying, and I don't know if I want to add to that because I'm not sure what the future will bring, but I am sure what I don't want the future to bring. And I don't want us to think that that technology is the answer to everything. I would be very fearful or very worried about us thinking that it was technology that got us through. I think it was what we were able to do through technology, and that was keep in touch. So I think that that's the most important thing, that we not lose that human aspect, which is what teaching is all about finally, right? Sorry. So technology, it's been wonderful and really, you know, we value, I think, and we should value what we've been able to do through it. But I don't want us to be left with the feeling that thanks to technology, we were able to survive this pandemic.
Right. Agree with you completely, dear Dixie. Okay, now I want to go back to the people, to the audience here. Just a minute, Irma. Give them the chance of expressing their ideas. So the question for the audience here is, how has the pandemic impacted your emotional well-being and your students' emotional well-being? So anybody here in the audience who wants to express his or her idea? Shall I repeat the question? How has the pandemic impacted your emotional well-being and your students' well-being? Anthony?
Yeah, okay. Let me begin with the students' well-being, emotional well-being. First and foremost, when it all started, the students thought that there will be no school, there will be no idea of school. So I remember one of my students running to me and asking me, Teacher Anthony Michael, are you saying I can no longer listen and hear from you again? It's a kind of shock to them. So I now realize that many of them, we are seeing it as an impossible task, something that has come to destroy our world, our relationship, our contact, our process of learning. So first and foremost, at the initial time, they received it in form of shock, but with the time we started practicing the online, they started keying in, but they are still seeing it as something very difficult. And that makes some of them, let's say, a bit slow in understanding what we are trying to do. And from my own level, to respond to this kind of situation, I have to become more patient, have to become more empathetic, I have to show more understanding. And also, I have to, give them that assurance that I am with them. We are going to experience whatever together. I'm not going to abandon them. I'm going to be with them. So it becomes a kind of, will I call it a family relationship. So I now see them as part of my life. They also see me as part of their life. And even to some extent, some parents will call and say, look, your son or your daughter is no longer your student. They're not saying your son or your daughter is misbehaving. He's not doing his assignments, homeworks. And then I will now fill in that gap where I will become not just as a teacher, but a tutor, a mentor, somebody that encourages, somebody that shows the light, somebody that leads the way. So he took a lot from me, and he's also fueled a lot to me. So that has been the situation even till now. So I hope with time, teachers will no longer I now see myself as not just a teacher that teaches in the classroom, but a teacher that has become a brother, a senior brother, a father, a mentor, somebody that advises and all the rest of them. So that's the situation. That's my own personal experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Anybody else here in the audience? How has the pandemic impacted your emotional well-being, your students' well-being, and your colleagues' well-being? Anybody?
Yeah, I'd like to share, Jaime.
This, Ivan.
Yeah, one area in my life and something I have noted is trust. It's trust in myself, trust in life, trust in others. So while doing sessions, online sessions, some of the students, open their cameras. Some of the students don't have access to cameras, or they don't want to open their cameras for any reason. So it's just trusting in others, like they are doing what's best for them. So in a face-to-face class, I'm there and I can see what they're doing. I'm thinking what they're doing because that's what I see what they're doing. But on a virtual, I don't know what they're doing. Even if they have their cameras on, I don't know what's in their mind and what's on the screen and what's around. I just see a little box of a face. So trust has been big for me. And not only trusting others, but I've seen others trusting me. So that makes me feel that I need to trust in oneself, in myself. So that's been big for me during this pandemic. Thank you.
I agree. No, thank you, Ivan, because you remind me of something that maybe we don't pay attention to, and we should. We just see this little box like here, but we don't know what's going on there. Some people haven't had breakfast. My students tell me that, or their parents are going through arguments, or very sad things which we don't pay attention to, and we don't know what's going on there. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And we need to trust our students. Right, that's true. Anybody else who wants to say something else before the last words or final words of our guest speakers? Olenka in Lima, in Trujillo, okay. I guess.
Yeah, I'm in Trujillo. I am very grateful because I'm in Trujillo in my birthplace, okay, with my parents. I came here only for 2 days, as usual. 2 days every month, but I am still here. I am so lucky because I have been working on the same time online, and for all this year, 2021, I'm going to be here. So first of all, I think the key is grateful for every single day. Try to thank God for having our family maybe with us, maybe without us, but it's possible to connect to each other. For example, every Sunday I connect with my family from different parts of Peru and also abroad. So this is a great opportunity that we have. With our students, it's necessary to be patient because they are suffering. Okay, in my case, it's my university student, and they are teenagers, young people, so they love traveling, going out with their friends, making parties, and they are suffering for losing their families too. And it's necessary to be patient with them when they tell you, oh, miss, some difficulties that are happening, okay? For example, one student told me, oh, miss, my aunt have just died. Like, this situation is, oh my goodness. It happened not only to us, but also for the student. And it's true that some of the students are shy and they don't like to turn their cameras on. But it's important that from time to time, try to agree with the student when they turn their cameras on, in what activities are important to do then. And during all the classes, to do different kind of question, not only gamifications, questions that they interact in the chat box, using different ideas, okay? So the first day of classes is important to do a survey, what they expect to us. And self-reflection is the key. Every class is different. When you are going to apply activities for one class is very different with other classes. Okay, so big gratitude, thanks God for every single day that we are alive. Okay, my two brothers are doctors, so during this pandemic, well, like this, I was every day pray God that they will not be infected with the COVID-19, said God, nobody of them do that. They received the vaccine last week, and I am so happy for that. So gratitude is the key, patient, self-reflection, okay, active learning, definitely, gamification, try to innovate ourselves, learn a little more, because we learn from each other. Everybody have weaknesses and also different skills that we need to improve. Okay, so being in this space with the ELT community and different speakers around the world give you the powerful to improve your classes. Thank you, Jaime, for this opportunity, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lenka. Okay, before your final words, my dear friends, colleagues, and professionals who are here, let me thank you for having accepted this invitation. It was supposed to be only 1 hour, at the most 1 hour and 30 minutes, but because this is a new beginning of the year, I thought that it was a good moment to reflect, and we have done it so. So your final words, please, Irma, Raj, Christopher, Larissa, Dixie, Julio, Maria Elba, and Mary Scholl. Mónica wrote to me saying that she has internet problems, so that's why she's not here. So no. Irma.
Okay, well, final words to this meeting, but I think it's not going to be final because I invite everybody to keep evolving. As long as teachers and as human beings, we keep evolving, adapting, reflecting, recognizing what we know, what we need to learn, what we need to change, and to go along with what our students need to do in class and what they need from us as teachers and as human beings, then we will be able not only to prevail in this situation and as long as the COVID pandemic lasts, but thinking in a positive way, we will be able also to evolve and adapt when we go back to what it was called normality with face-to-face classes. Because one of the things that I have learned is that learning happens outside the classrooms. And now it doesn't matter what shape of the classroom it is. It can be online, it can be Zoom, it can be Google Meet, it can be one-by-one, one-to-one, but also everything that happens outside the classroom is also an alternative for learning, and we will need to adapt when we go back to face-to-face classes after everything happens. And wishing you all the best. Thank you, Jaime, for bringing us together in this group.
Thank you.
Because it's the best place to keep reflecting. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma. Maria Elba in Bolivia.
Well, thank you very much, Jaimito, to invite me to this beautiful session. I the faces, and I am very happy to participate. And the only thing that I want to say is we have to be patient with our students and treat them with a lot of love, because we don't know what happened in our houses. We don't know what is happening inside. So it's necessary to trust on them, as say the other colleague, and be patient with your students and listen. Just few minutes at the beginning of the lesson, listen, some of them, and you will know them better and work better too. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Elba. Raj in Canada.
Well, pleasure to be with you. Enjoyable session. I'll say empathy before education, connection before direction, and lastly, a balance between being and doing.
Thank you, Raj. Chris in Chiclayo, Peru.
Yeah, I think everyone's said it, but on sort of like a more general level, and at the risk of sounding sort of maybe petty-minded, I hope what comes out of this COVID experience is that parents have had to go at teaching. Parents have had to stay at home and teach their children. And I haven't found one parent who's found it easy. They've all complained. They've all been so happy for their children to go back to school or for their children to take classes. And I think if they have got a newfound respect for teachers, because what teachers do, I mean, I came to teaching quite late, and I was surprised at the amount of the dedication that the teaching community has. And if out of this, the parents can understand that and respect that, and, you know, work with us, instead of sometimes the biggest obstacle in the classroom is the parents and their outside influence. Maybe that's just my experience at my school, but, you know, hopefully if some good comes out of it, we get this respect for teachers continues. And also, Jaime, thank you for the opportunity to come and join you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Christopher. Dixie, Mexico.
Yeah, I would like to agree with what Chris is saying, but I think that there will be good coming out of this newfound respect, I think, for everybody and their jobs. I don't see that we're going to go back to how we were before. I think that we have to learn and that we have to progress from this point. If we come back to our normality, we've lost 2 years of our life and didn't learn anything about it. Right. So I think that we have to learn also to thank whoever we thank God or whoever it is that we thank for the blessing of living through this experience, which is horrible, which is a nightmare, but which is definitely a learning experience. So that's.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dixie. Larissa in Colombia.
Well, Jaime, first, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I was really pleased to share with these great teachers, professionals from different countries. We have been suffering like the same pandemic, but as I don't remember who said that, I think Raj, we have different levels and we see it and we experience from different levels. So a few words, value small things. I guess that the idea of getting a phone call from a friend, a message is great. Being grateful for everything we have in life, for everything we do in life, for what we are. And the idea of having a growth mindset, I guess that I usually tell my students, never said I can't do it, but say I can't do it yet. So the power of yet is really important. We might have difficulties, but if we say we can't face it yet, that could be great. And finally, who we are makes a difference. And I totally agree that there is too much time opportunity for research in these like topics that we have been talking about. Thank you very much, Jaime.
Thank you, Larissa. Julio in Lima, Peru. The next congressman.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jaime, and thank you all of you for sharing your ideas, your views, and for allowing me to do so too. I think the new normal, as what is being called now, definitely is going to be kind of blended or hybrid. But I was impacted by what Dixie mentioned, that we shouldn't consider technology as the key to everything for the future. No. Technology, I mean, if there is not a teacher in terms of education, if there's not a teacher behind that screen, technology will be useless. And we have to be very, very aware of that fact. And also, yeah, we have to change as teachers, but we have to be open-minded in terms of the growth, the changes, the way we have to adapt, the way we have to innovate, but still we have to keep that human factor that is so important in education. Education cannot happen without that human touch. And we shouldn't forget technology does not have that human touch. And we have to keep that in mind. And also our position is to adapt, to change, and to everything is kind of, it's easier than for children. Think about the children, think about the kids who are now enclosed in their houses, enclosed in their bedrooms, young people that they need to move. Children, they need to have social contact, no? And that's so important that is being missed. So we also have to be sympathetic towards children, towards young students, no? University students, teachers, we have already lived a life. We know how to adapt, but think about those kids. And I think by thinking about those kids, we'll be able to be more creative, to be more humane, and to be better teachers and educators. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julio. And finally, because Mónica couldn't make it, Mónica, did you come back? I guess she didn't. She couldn't make it. And Mary Scholl, give us your final words today.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you for this amazing community of practice that you have created. And thank you everybody for showing up and being a part of it. I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part with you. I want to share a couple images with you all. The first one is this. Oops, sorry. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to unblur me, even though my background is not so wonderful.
Yeah, there.
Yes.
There,
so this is one of the images that I keep in my eyesight as I'm working on my computer. And it's a beautiful photo of pygmy children playing a game, an Osani game, a circle game. And so one of the things that I'd love for us to remember is the circles, that we are in circle together in our work, in our worlds, in our lives. And the second image I'd like to offer is this image by Mel Sharpcott and a few words that go with it. It's called Seed Song. Within the smallest seed resides the greatest potential. The seed does not know its own magnificence, only that its job is to awaken. Look at the beauty of each and every flower, the wonder of the redwood, the scent of lavender. All life starts from a seed and becomes something incredibly special. Why then do we doubt our progress? Why do we push ourselves? The lesson of the seed is to release to growth. It happens at its own pace, in rhythm with seasons, even in the most difficult climates. Nourish your seeds with rich soil, clear water, and they will bloom. So my last words for us are seeds. Seeds and love, and nourishing our seeds in whatever context we're experiencing. And I think that's what we're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, dear Mary, and thanks everybody for being in this touching, beautiful, wonderful, excellent meeting we had today. If you thank me, I thank you, because without you, without technology, without the permission of the dean of the education school at the university, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I want to thank you because you have been with us for 2 hours and 12 minutes without doing any housework, or I guess you like to be here, so that is an excuse for you to tell your partner or somebody at home, I'm busy. But thank you so much, and see you on February, when is it, Larissa? February 28th.
28th,
so, yeah, so that is in 2 Sundays, right? Right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay. So thank you so much to everyone, and the next semester, by the way, we will invite teachers from kindergarten, like Katia Murguia, who is here, teacher from primary school, she's afraid, from primary school, and teacher from high school. Because as Julio said, we have been talking about university level, but what about the lowest, which are the most important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because we have to go through kindergarten, primary, don't hate me, please, Katia, and secondary school, because that is the base. That is the base. And I don't understand why our government doesn't pass a law so kindergarten students take the course as a mandatory course, right? I don't know what happens in your country, but when Julio becomes congressman,
we will have hope for that.
Yes, he will help us pass the law.
Jaime, I think we say everything I know I learned in kindergarten.
Yes,
we do.
Yes. Or my mother taught me. My mother taught me when I was little. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Daniela, Neil, Glenda, Karen, Marisa, Marlene, Katia, Dixie, Julio, Maria Elba, Mary, Olenka, Larissa, Anthony, Ivan, the lucky guy in Costa Rica, Ernesto, Emily, Irma, Raj, Christopher, thank you so much, and Roxy, a big hug from Pura to you, Roxana, Roxy, because of your mother.
Thank you very much, Jaime. Thank you very much.
So see you on February in 2 Sundays. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Big
Thank
hug
you,
for you.
everybody. Have a lovely Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great day.
Don't forget to vote for me, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's.
Please
Thank you,
stay.
Jaime.